Assalamualaikum. Today our group will present about speciation. A biological species is a group of individuals which can interbreed with each other, and the concept as a whole gives an explanation of how new species are formed. What is speciation? Speciation is an evolutionary process by which one or more new biological species arise from previously existing species. Modes of speciation are allopatric speciation, sympatric speciation, and parapatric speciation. In case of allopatric speciation, each in its own range becomes species due to local adaptation. One species could split into two in physical barrier, such as New River divided its geographical barrier. It separated into two separable were involved independent. Over time, different alleles will be fixed in them and new species is formed. Unlike the previous mode, sympatric speciation occurs when members of a species population in the same habitat develop genetic differences. Over time, they form different groups that no longer can interbreed with each other, thus form different species. An example of sympatric speciation, in 1816 in the Hudson River Valley of New York, a population of fruit magotflies Regulatis pulmonella from houghton trees have migrated to apple trees. Although both populations, houghton magotflies and apple magotflies, continue to occupy the same geographical area, no gene flow occurs between them. Why? Because houghton magotflies and apple magotflies no longer interbreed since they were on different hosts. In parapatric speciation, the new species evolved from contiguous population. Parapatric speciation occurs suppose that a population initially existing in the area two ways equals well adaptive, and that is when started to expand into contiguous area in which the environment favor are different. If the transition between the two environment was further, a step climb will evolve at the bottom and selection walk on the population in a new area. Different genes will accumulate in it, and two populations will divert, become adaptive to the respective environment. If the divert almost to be different species, the border would be recognized as the hybrid zone.
Of one or more new unique species from a current species. In order for one species to split into two or more, a faction within the species must not share its genetic information with the rest of the species. This is called reproductive isolation, and there are two main categories of contributors to this isolation: prezygotic barriers and postzygotic barriers, so named for whether they occur before or after fertilization.
Prezygotic barrier result when two groups within a species isolate themselves one from one another in some way. So let's look at some example. Temporal isolation occurs when members of the same species are active at different times of the day, month, or even years. More specifically, they breed at different times. For example, some of the group breed during the day and others breed during the night. They isolating themselves from one another and not sharing genetic information. The same would be true for one group breeding in the spring and another breeding in the fall again, and both from the same species. Behavioral isolation was another. In this case, members of the same species behave differently, especially with their mating practice. So these members may have slightly different mating rituals that don't attract members of the other groups, thus isolating who they mate with. Others include mechanical isolation, where some members physically can't mate with other. Habitat isolation, where the habitats occupied by members of a species differs and thus breeding interaction differs, and gametic isolation, which occur in aquatic animals.
Zygotic barrier. The barrier occurs after fertilization has occurred, so mating happens but no viable or fertile offspring is produced. These include reduced hybrid viability, in which case there is successful fertilization but the development is not successful or result in very weak offspring which is prone to early death. Another example is reduced hybrid fertility, which case a mating is successful at producing offspring, the hybrid of the parent, but the offspring is not fertile and thus produce no offspring of its own. The classic case is a mule to offspring of male donkey and female horse. The mule live a full life and function just fine, except when it comes to reproducing. This is one reason that donkey and horse are considered to be different species. A final example of post-zygote barrier is hybrid breakdown, in which offspring is produced and that offspring may be able to reproduce but the second generation will be weak or sterile.
Population bottleneck occur when a population size is reduced for at least one generation. A founder effect occur when a new colony is started by a few members of the original population. Production of hybrid through interbreeding between two different species, for example, allopolyploidy in plant. Adaptive gradation. A group of individuals share a homologous structure which is modified to perform a variety of functions. Homologous structure. Structure in different species that are similar because originate from the common ancestor. Adaptive gradation lead to speciation, for example, features on Galapagos Island. Larger groundfish as the ancestor and six types of features are formed. Their beaks are adapted for specific diet. New species on bird on Galapagos Island show different in build and feeding mood. Such change is due to mutation for survival in the course of evolution. The change took many generations to accomplish in the various organisms. The closest evolutionary related animals show the closest similarities in the structure. Importance of adaptive gradation. Enable the animal to occupy a specific niche even though they are living together in the same habitat. Second, bring about divergent evolution is one species diversified into many related species. Third, enable organisms to be isolated physically and reproductively. And lastly, formation of new species.